All right, guys, I want to share with you my 8 secrets to becoming financially free with real estate. 8 secrets, here we go, that I've gathered over the last few years, my own experience, talking to a bunch of other podcast guests and students who have been successful. Here they are, number 8. Number one. Number one thing to focus on is, of course, your first deal. Okay, so don't think about how many units you need too much about to retire. Don't think about a 110 unit deal that you'll need to don't think about anything. Just think about that first deal. Focus all your energy and resources on that first deal. Make that deal really real. Create that sample deal package. Okay, go there, take pictures of it, talk to people about it. Pretend it's yours, pretend you are to have it in your grasp. Just focus on your first deal, because a lot of the first deal says that if you do your first multifamily deal of any size, you will be financially free in 3 to 5 years. What happens is that second and third deal follow in rapid, almost automatic succession. That's the power of the first deal, and it's extremely powerful and very, very universal. In fact, I haven't found a single story that didn't match the law of the first deal, except for mine. Because I did a distraction through restaurants and all that kind of stuff and lost a bunch of money. Okay, you're not going to do that. So number one, focus on your first deal. Number two, about goal setting. State your goals clearly and over multiple time frames. Okay, so if you've ever read the book by Gary Keller, The One Thing, that's a very powerful book. I want you to read that thing, okay? Because you got to state your goals clearly. And the way you state them is you state them in the present tense as if they're already real. And they have to be measurable, okay? So you have to say by June 30th, I will have closed on my first 20-unit deal. Or by June 30th, I will have received commitments from 4 investors totaling more than $200,000. Okay, so it has to be a yes, no, did I do that deal? And then you set goals over multiple time frames. So the time frames I like is today, this week, the month, and 90 days. I like the 90-day time frame because it gives you long enough time to actually achieve something meaningful. And it gives you the time to actually do it. But it's not so long in the future that you're a little bit, it's a little bit out of control. There's very variable factors that may or may not happen, like a year goal or 5-year goal. There's a lot of things outside of your control there. And there could be people that you haven't met yet, and that's in a variable, and you can't wrap your head around that. But 90 days is you're working with your current experience, your current team. So if you bust your butt, you can achieve those goals. That's why I like the 90-day time frame. So I use something called Keep, Google Keep. It's just a checklist, and I track all of my tasks in there. And I always have identify the 3 things I want to do today. What are the 3 things I want to do today? And come hell or high water, I'm going to achieve those three things, and it's probably not going to be checking the email or taking a phone call. All right? I'll do the same thing on a week and a month, and then, of course, setting 90-day goals. So, number 2, state your goals clearly and over multiple time frames. Number 3, no plan B. Okay? The biggest problem I see with people whose life ain't so bad is that, well, their life ain't so bad. They got a good job, they got a nice spouse, a house, they have a health, their kids are great. And you ask yourself, well, what's the problem exactly? Oh, I don't see myself working for the next 10, 15 years. Yeah, okay, I gotcha. So you're lazy. Well, no, I'm not lazy. So in other words, what is the problem you're trying to solve? And if your life ain't so bad, you have to make it bad, okay? You have to make it appear to you so unacceptable that your life currently is totally unacceptable. You can't be in the same spot this time next year. That is totally unacceptable. Now, the more real it is to you, the better it is. But you cannot have a plan B. You can't have a fallback position. So that you actually have to have a real no plan B, or you have to fabricate it. Because if you do have a plan B, it's going to be very, very attractive when things get hard, and they will. Number 4, here's how to not become overwhelmed. Here, the trick is you always do the next 3 things. A little bit down, it breaks down the first deal a little bit further. The first deal is still pretty much out there. 110 things have to happen, but don't worry about the 110 things that have to happen. Worry about the next 3 things. Everybody knows the next 3 things they have to do. It could be talk to that person, read that book, could be go to that seminar, could be call that broker. You know what those next 3 things are. 3 things are. My suggestion to you is write them down, put them in Google Keep or a sticky note, and just knock them out. Write down when you're done, cross them off your list, do the next 3. And then after like 2 months or so, you look up and you are going to be amazed at what you have accomplished. So don't overwhelm yourself with 110 things. Just write down and do the next 3 things. Number 5, focus on activity, not outcome. This is especially important as you're first getting started. You're building skill, okay? So all you're going to do, you're going to analyze every deal under the planet, whether you think it's going to work or not, whether it's too small, too big, it doesn't matter. You're going to talk to anyone who will talk to you and listen to you about investing with you, even if you know if they have no money. It doesn't matter, okay? It's at this point, quantity over quality. And the reason you're doing that is you have to build a skill set. The skill that you have analyzing deals and using the language, and that is so that you can build up confidence, because people will respond to you differently if your confidence is low versus very high. So you have to develop the skills so you can get the confidence so brokers return your calls and investors commit to investing with you. Do you see how that works? So in the beginning, focus on activity, not outcome. Number 6, becoming financial free with real estate, is overcome the investing graveyard. What is that, Michael? Okay, there's a couple of points in your investing career that may wash you out, okay? And I've seen this over and over again. The first one is when you get started around the 2 to 2.5 month mark. Your enthusiasm, maybe you went to a seminar, one of our live events. We have Dealmaker Live coming up, or maybe you just sign up with as a mentoring student or whatever. Your enthusiasm starts to wane after about 2 months. And you're like, oh my gosh, it's taking longer. I don't really have anything to show for. And you start getting frustrated and disillusioned. And that's where a lot of people, especially if they're not working with a mentor, they just walk away. They're like, I don't have a first deal yet. I don't have a first investor yet. Forgetting, meanwhile, that they're on a 2 to 3 year retirement plan, which is incredibly short, and they quit after 2 months. That's amazing. So that's number 1. Number 2 is when you finally get a deal under contract, and getting a deal under contract is really difficult. It's hard to do. Okay, you get this deal under contract, and then you do the due diligence, and you go out there and you do the proper inspection, and the proper inspector discovers a problem with the foundation. It's a $50,000 problem. It's a 20-unit property. And the $50,000, the seller goes, no, I'm not doing anything. Take it or leave it. And you're like, man, the deal won't work. And now you have to terminate the contract. That is so painful to so many people because they have so much emotion, so much energy in a deal that it makes them completely non-objective, and they can't extract themselves from that. And if you're working with a more senior person who will basically say, look, you're not doing that deal. There's no way you're doing it. It's a bad deal. And they extract themselves from that, which is necessary in this step. But sometimes the trauma is too great. And people say, man, this is not for me. There's no way I can get this over the finish line. They quit. And you're just feet in front of the gold. When you get a deal under contract like that, that is an enormous feat. All you got to do is do it again because you already did it. You're already like literally a couple feet before gold. So those are kind of the investing graveyard. Make sure you're aware of these. Surround yourselves with a strong support network so you can get through the investing graveyard. Number 7, celebrate the milestones. Okay, now, of course, a huge milestone is your first deal. No question. But if you focus only on that milestone, that might be another 12 months down the road, okay? You have way more other milestones to achieve and celebrate, and you have to, because if you don't, you might give up in month 2 or 3, because if you're focusing on activity, not outcome, that was number 5, then you're actually going to have an amazing amount of milestones. For example, you could have your first deal analyzed. That's a cool milestone. Having your 12th deal analyzed is a huge milestone because your skill level now is at a completely different level. You have your first investor verbally committed to investing with you. Huge milestone. You can either go out to dinner. That's a big one. Okay. Your first LOI, you've been invited to submit your first LOI. Okay. So you've appeared confidence to the broker. They're taking you seriously. You're like, why don't you put something in writing? Holy cow. That's huge. Now, whether the LOI gets accepted or not is secondary, but you were just invited to submit an offer. That's amazing. Okay, so you have to recognize these things as you have to go, wow, this was an amazing thing. You have to tell someone about this, and you have to celebrate. So number 7 is celebrate milestones. Number 8 is something I alluded to before. Remember that you are on a 2 to 3 retirement plan. So what if it takes you 12 months to do your first deal? Honestly. What kind of retirement plan are you right now? Okay, you're probably on the 10 to 20 year time plan. And why are you complaining at month 3 or 4 that's taking too long? I don't understand that. Because here's how it's going to work. Let's say it takes you a really long time to do a deal. 12 months, my gosh. Let it take 18 months to do your first deal. Oh my gosh. But what happens is in that second year, that the second 12 months of that, you're going to do 2 deals, okay? So you're going to be done in 2 years. You're going to cover your living expenses. And I can tell you from experience that if you're following these 7 steps and you're focusing on activity, then you are going to do your first deal in that first 12 months. So just stick with it, okay? You're on a tried and true retirement plan. So there you have it. My eight methods for becoming financial free with real estate. Number 1 is focus on your first deal. Number 2, state your goals clearly over multiple time frames. Number 3, burn the boats, no plan B. Number 4, do the next 3 things. That way you'll never get overwhelmed. Number 5, focus on activity, not on outcome. Number 6, make sure you overcome the investing graveyard. Number 7, celebrate the milestones. And number 8, remember that you're on a 2 to 3 retirement plan. So what if it takes you 12 months to do your first deal? Stick with those 8 and you'll be financially free in the next 2 to 3 years. And I wish you all the best. Keep me posted. Catch you guys next time. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. Now, as the next step, download this ebook right here, okay? When you've downloaded that, make sure you also subscribe to my YouTube channel, because then you can get all of the videos that I release as soon as I release. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel right now. Click on that right now. And then also make sure that this is the next best video to watch is this one right here. So hope you enjoyed that. I'll catch you next time.